What's up, everybody? Before we get started, I wanted to remind everybody to check out the description to this video so that you guys can support me. I have two ways in there right now, through an affiliate link to buy the book that we're going to review today, and a way to donate through a Buy Me a Coffee link. So just a reminder to do that to help me so that I can do more of these book reviews and make more self-help videos. And with that, the book we're going to be reviewing today is I Will Teach You to Be Rich by Ramit Sethi. Now, if you've been, and I have some paper notes here just to change it up. If you've been in the personal finance space at all or looked into it, you probably heard of Ramit Sethi. He has a website, I Will Teach You to Be Rich. It might be IWT, something like that. But he's had that for a while, and he had a bunch of blog posts on there, turned it into an email list, and then he turned it into a book. And I found out about him, I don't know, like 7 years ago or something. And there's just a lot of good information on there. All this seems basic. All of the information in this book seems like basic knowledge for me now because I've been following him for so long. But he has really good ideas. If you're barely starting on personal finance, if you're getting out of college, if you're early in your career, you should definitely read this book or give it to somebody that you know. And I actually got a signed edition of the new book. This is the new version, not the old version, because he has some new information, new accounts, new companies to use. And this book is 9 chapters. It's not that long. It looks like a long book, but it's really just like a reference book. You can keep going back to it. And he says it's a 6-week program that works. He has it as a program because what he basically wants you to do in this book is to assess your personal financial situation and set up a system, and then that's going to automate your life. That's what he's really obsessed with, the systems. And I like the principle of systems that he has in here, but I don't think they work for everybody. And he says they don't work for everybody, and he caveats it, but that's what he's really obsessed with. He's really focusing on people with higher level incomes that have a lot of spare room in their budgets that you can automate it. Because what he wants you to end up doing is basically automating your finances to where you only spend a certain amount of money. It's guilt-free spending. He's big on guilt-free spending. And just giving yourself this little bucket of guilt-free spending. Everything else is completely automated from your savings, investments, etc. And I think the principles behind it are good, but I don't think in execution it's really as easy as he makes it, especially if you're not above a certain income level. But he says no matter what your excuses are, you should still save. But the other thing I don't like about Ramit Sethi is just his attitude and the way he talks. It's very nonchalant, and I don't know how to explain it. He's very, I know way better than you. He also refers back to his ethnicity a lot, and it's just like he's like, because I'm Indian, no, I have all this knowledge. It's just weird how he keeps referring back to that, but he makes it seem like he's had everything figured out. And the more, I guess, free will that you use in your personal finances, the more you leave up to error. So basically what he's saying is don't trust yourself, because if you trust yourself with money, you'll screw it up. Just automate it, let it go, and that'll give you freedom. So this book is really towards that type of personality type, the person that's needs a lot of control of everything and likes automating. That's not going to work with everybody based on personality traits. And people like having control over stuff. Yes, you might be more prone to error, but I think, he needs to be more mindful of people like that. But he's not. He's very, just listen to me. This is the way you succeed. This is the way you succeed, and don't try and do anything by yourself. And I disagree with that. But that aside, he has really good advice. So the first part of the first chapter is about credit cards, and he tells you the type of credit cards to get. You obviously need a credit card to build credit. He explains credit. You need to get a low-fee credit card with lots of rewards, and he tells you about the advantages of rewards, what credit cards to use, what credit cards he uses. The next one is beating the banks, the next chapter, chapter 2. And this part is essential, and I think people need to learn about this, about low fee banks and having a bank in general. And the two, he recommends Schwab and Capital One 360, and I've been using those. And Schwab is an online bank. He likes them because they pay interest. They pay interest like a savings account, and so that's just how to outsmart the banks. Don't use Bank of America. Don't use Wells Fargo. Basically, the banks that Warren Buffett invests in, because he invests in them because they take advantage of their customers. But you need to get rid of the fees all across your accounts, whether it's banking or investing, because it adds up, especially for the smaller guy. And then chapter 3, get ready to invest. And this is where he tells you the advantages of a 401k. And I'm big on this as well. You have to put money into a 401k. Anybody you know, whether you're at the beginning of your career or in the middle, put as much money in your 401k as possible, and then auto invest it into an S&P 500 fund or low fee index fund. And I have plenty of books on this channel about that. I wouldn't go to Ramit Sethi for investments. I would go to the book Quit Like a Millionaire, which is on this channel. And if you want to learn more about investing, read Fortune's Formula. And also I recommend Tony Robbins' Money Master the Game in addition to those. Chapter 4 is conscious spending. This is where Ramit breaks out his categories. You should have 50 to 60% of fixed cost, 10% of investments, savings goals of 5 to 10%, and cost-free spending of 20 to 35%. And the savings goals is in addition to investments. So that's like just saving for big ticket items that might come up, like a wedding, a house, other things like that. And then he basically wants you to keep an eye on your spending, be more conscious of it, and don't try not to be in debt and pay off your debt. He's really big on paying off your debt. Chapter 5, save all your spending. I don't have much about that, except I think that was the system chapter. Chapter 6 is a myth of financial expertise. I agree with him on that there's financial experts. There's not really financial experts because people can't guess where things are going to go, and they're just going to charge you a fee. And Tony Robbins talks about this in Money Master the Game. Talk about it in Quit Like a Millionaire. Make sure to pick up Quit Like a Millionaire to learn about how to invest. And then the thing that Ramit Sethi talks about is target date funds. I wouldn't use target date funds. They're not good. Just put it in an S&P 500 low fee account, or you can diversify it like Quit Like a Millionaire has. Quit Like a Millionaire really tells you how to allocate your funds based on your plan in life. That book is really good. I recommend that book. Maybe I'll put the affiliate link in the description for that one too, because that one's amazing. I think that's basically my notes for this book. I Will Teach You to Be Rich. It's really simple processes. He goes into a lot of detail. The setting up your expenses, like he says, getting the right bank accounts, automating as much of it as you can, setting up a 401k. But there's a lot more specifics in here. He has stuff about buying a car. He recommends a website on there that I'm actually using right now. What else? He talks about weddings and saving up for weddings. And people always say they're not going to spend that much, but then they overspend. And then also planning in case you get divorced with a prenup, which I can say myself, no matter where you are in life, you should do a prenup if you're going to get married. And I know when he went on the James Altucher podcast, he talked about that. And it's important. And I think especially for a prenup, you need to have something regarding alimony, because no matter what your situation now, you could end up paying alimony or have to argue over it. So it's better to set yourself up now. But this book is pretty simple. It's good for setting up your savings. It's good for telling you the importance of getting rid of loans and the types of banks you can use. But as far as investments, I would not reference his advice. I mean, his overall advice towards the investments of not listening to financial experts, doing a low-fee index fund is good. But the stuff about target date funds, I don't like, I don't agree with, and I would go with Quit Like a Millionaire or one of those other books. But if you're just getting into the personal finance space or want to give somebody a book about personal finance, or if you wonder if you should get this book, then yes, I would recommend it. It's very good. It's it's the bedrock of personal finance. Like all of the stuff he has in here is what you should do. There's a whole lot of other people out there with like Latte Factor, that book. I think I reviewed that book on here, or I read that book, and it's just not the book's about saving a latte every day. And even though that advice is really good, there's just not much specifics. And here, there's a lot of specifics. And I think how Ramit Sethi got really popular was his advice regarding bank accounts and setting up the systems to automate your savings. And so that's why this book is good. That's why Ramit Sethi is still very popular. That's why he still has a large social media following. So I really recommend this book if you're looking into personal finance, if you're trying to actually automate, become getting rich. Because if you have a job, if you have a 9 to 5 job for your whole career and you follow his advice, then you will become rich without a doubt. I believe that, especially for young people that are barely getting started, to start saving right away. The earlier you save in your career, in your life, the richer you're going to become faster. So with that, I agree. And this book is really good. I recommend it, especially the new version. Make sure you get the new version if you get this book. And I'll put a link in the description. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe and like this video.